Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got this great big feeling. Everything's going my way. Okay. I'm ready to put 2 coats of primer on here. Now, I previously had put 2 coats of primer on here before I put the Fix It All on here, right? Do you remember that? Do you remember why I did that? Because these were old steps. The top 2 steps are brand new, but the steps from here on down were existing, and they had some visible signs of mold underneath the existing paint. And so I had scraped off the paint as best I could with some paint remover material, and then I applied some primer. I wanted to kill any possible residues of mold, so I went to the store and I got this Zinsser mold killing primer. Do you remember that? Kills existing mold, mildew, and odor causing bacteria. I wanted to be safe rather than sorry before I applied my Fix It All on these steps. So I used that and I put 2 coats on there. And I ended up using that same mold killing primer before I put my roofing material down on here. I put 2 coats of primer on this just as a deterrent, maybe. There was no mold on it, obviously, because it was all existing. Or it was all brand new. I put all brand new plywood down here from about this line, about right in here on out, okay, to the existing top plates of the wall here and the wall over there. Okay, and I did that, and I have a little bit of this mold killing primer left, probably from here down, about there down, not very much. And I was thinking, should I put that down? Well, I decided no. I went to the store and I got this Kills 2 latex. This is interior exterior water-based primer, sealer, stain blocker. I don't need anything to kill mold now, and I'm only going to be able to do a few steps from here down anyway. So I'm going to save this. Hopefully it won't dry out. Probably what I'll end up doing is lifting this lid off, putting a piece of plastic down on top of the paint from here down to keep that paint moist and keep it from drying out, because it won't if I close this lid and leave it, you've got all this air from here down to there that could possibly dry up this paint, because there's not very much paint left. So I can take some plastic. I can just take a little plastic bag, you know, from the grocery store, a plastic bag, something like this, and I can reach down there and put that right down against the paint. Yeah, that'll prolong the paint. I think that's what I'll end up doing before I store that. But I knew I was going to need more than that much anyways. And here's the thing, the Kills, this was $17 a gallon, $30 a gallon. Okay, this is going to work fine, and this will also work for all kinds of other areas where I want to prime, like before painting, or if you got a water stain or something on the wall, you can put this down there first. It's a stain blocker, multi-surface stain blocker, and it's for drywall, masonry, galvanized, and more. Interior, exterior, water-based. I like that. It's low odor. You go to the store on Kills products now, they have so many different ones. You're like, okay, which one do I get? I talked to the guy at the store a little bit, decided on this one, and so that's what I'm going to end up using on these steps. And I'm probably going to put 2 coats on here. I'm not going to just skimp and go 1 coat. It's not going to take me that much longer to put a second coat on here anyways, after putting the first one on. Okay, right now it looks like I have primer on here already, right? Well, this is just Fix It All. Fix All. It comes dry, you mix it up, and I put that on there initially to smooth out these steps and to put an angle on here. Each one of these now slopes out. Before, all these old stairs sloped in a little bit, so when the water came down, it would accumulate here. It wouldn't even build up high enough to come out, because then there was a crack here. They didn't caulk it properly, and then it leaked down underneath the stairs, and the stair stringers, and all underneath the stairs had all kinds of, had some dry rot. Up here towards the top, I had to replace all this, and then down the stringers had mold growing on it, built up about 1/8 of an inch thick, had mushrooms growing down there. I had to scrape it all off, and with the putty knife, and then took wire brushes to it, then wiped that down, then sprayed that with a bleach. I sprayed it with bleach, the whole thing, and then after that I took my mold killing primer that I got at the store, and I painted that, and I painted 2 coats of it with that mold killing primer. Could I have used Kills for that? I don't know. Or they have different paint products that kills mold and stuff at the store. That's just what I did, and I painted everything underneath, 2 coats, and so now I'm up to this point here, and I put a skin on here with that Fix-It-All, and actually I built it up quite a few different coats. If you saw those videos, you would see all the time and effort went into doing that. But I thought, hey, this is where I want to live for the next 20 years or more, and so I want these steps done right. And then obviously before I put the finish paint down, I want to put primer on here first. Okay, so I'm going to put 2 coats of primer on there, then I'm going to come back, and that primer is not going to take very long to dry, and then I'm going to take my caulking and I'm going to install that extreme stretch. There you go. That's what I'm going to use. Seals joints up to 3 inches, 600% total stretch, white, and is from DAP. Okay, extreme stretch. I'd never seen that before. Premium crack proof elastomeric sealant. That's what I like. Anything with caulking at the store that says elastomeric, you know that's going to stretch pretty easily. Adheres to virtually any substrate. Paintable in 2 hours. Easy water cleanup and low odor, interior and exterior. Extreme stretch. So I'm going to use that, and I ended up using some of that underneath these columns, way up underneath on the inside corners, because I redid all of that. Okay, before I put that roofing material down on there, and I used that extreme stretch under there. I'm going to end up putting another coat under there one more time even before I finish this floor. I'm actually going to coat this floor a couple more times with that white roofing material. So I'm going to take that extreme stretch. Where am I going to caulk? I'm going to caulk right up against the stucco, okay, all the way down on both sides. I'm also going to caulk all of these inside edges, all of them, even though it looks like it's tight now where I put the Fix-It-All, I'm still going to caulk that. Okay, the Fix-It-All will not stop the water. I'm not going to make any assumptions. Okay, I'm going to put the caulking there too. And then where else am I going to put the caulking? Do you have any other thoughts where else I'm going to do it? Yeah, underneath the stairs. See that edge up there? Look at that one. You see the big gap under there? I'm probably going to put 2 coats. I'll put a coat of caulking there, and then after it dries, I'll put another coat of caulking there. And I'm going to do it on every single step. Okay, I don't want moisture to go in there. I don't want the water to run down this edge and then kind of go back and try to get in through that crack. I don't want water splashing on here and coming up and going up inside that crack. No way, no how, not on my watch. Not going to do it. I'm going to take the time and effort to caulk that, and I want to put 2 coats on there, and I want it nice and snug as a bug in a rug. Okay, so I'll end up putting 2 coats of caulking. I'll do that today too, because it's gonna be warm now. You see that the sun's come out. It's over 50 degrees now, and I was kind of smart. I wanted to make sure I waited a little bit until it got warmer out here. I didn't want to do it at 40 degrees or 38 degrees or anything like that. I wanted to make sure it's warm enough out here and it's dry enough. The 2 coats of primer aren't going to take that long to dry. By the time I start painting up here and go all the way down to the bottom, it's going to be dry up here. In fact, once I go to the bottom, this third step to the bottom will be dry enough by the time I paint those other 2 that I can step up here, and then I can start up here and work back down again. That's what I did before, and I'm thinking this Kills 2 latex is probably going to dry about the same time as that mold killing primer, the Zinsser. Okay, so I'm going to use the Kills this time, a little cheaper, and it's going to work just as well, if not as good or better than the Zinsser mold killing primer. I don't need to use a mold killing primer anymore, do I? So I'll save that with all my other paints. The mold killing primer, I may end up needing to use, you know, a few brushes of it here and there, somewhere underneath the house, or who knows in the future. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do, and I'm sticking to it. All right, let's do it. Now see here, I've still got my paint tray. My paint trays, I got two little plastic inserts here, and I have not washed this out once yet. I've had stain in there, or the mold killing primer in there a couple different times. I've even had my roofing material substrate that I put on. I don't know if you call it substrate or not, but it's like mastic, but you can put it on with the paint roller. Put that in there, put more primer in there, and I'm just gonna pour my primer straight in here. It's all nice and dry. This is fine. And even after a few more, when this builds up more, I can take it and I can just rip it right out of there and keep using that same plastic tray if I want. Okay, now am I going to show you the whole thing? I don't think I'm going to show you the whole thing. I might show you 1 or 2 steps or something, but I've already shown you how to paint these steps and what I'm going to do, what's all involved and stuff. And it's not that big of a deal. I'm just taking that, and I've got my 4-inch mini roller here, and I'm gonna use that on there, and my 2-inch throwaway paintbrush. Look at that. It's still in pretty good shape. I've used this for this entire project, putting different things on, using it as a paintbrush, putting this roofing material on around the edges, putting it on underneath this floor when I was treating everything and painting all of the existing OSB plywood underneath there, and the 2x6s and all that kind of stuff. You saw that. If you didn't see it, you can go to my channel and you can find that under playlists, dry rot, deck repairs. And I think I'm still going to use the same roller cover. It's a little stiff. I've washed it out. I've used it several times, and I'm going to try it out a little bit. Worst case scenario, I've got another paint cover I can use if I need to. Okay, that's it. And then here's my little doohickey that I put on the paint bucket, and that kind of helps me pour it and stuff. That way the paint doesn't run all the way on the back side of this and stuff. Okay, and I can use this edge to wipe off my paintbrush and stuff, and I'm good to go. All right, enough of that. Got to get to work. Well, that's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.